Sunday night. It's usually a terrible day for people who have to go to work tomorrow. But if you found this Detroit Lions channel, we're going to try to make your Sunday night, Monday morning a little bit better with some Detroit Lions talk. Will, hammer that subscribe button while you're here. It's the last week. It is the final week of real training camp, final week of game prep. It's an important week for a lot of people. A lot of people are on the roster, don't have a for sure job yet. There's a lot of bubble players. We had a little conversation yesterday that sparked this idea about the Detroit Lions and could they carry an extra player at this position. So we're going to get into some stuff today. Well, where do you want to begin?
First thing I want to do is give a shout out to my boy J-Mo, man. My boy J-Mo, my boy Waymo. I won't scream in your guys' ear, but in Detroit today, J-Mo Day, carnival themed backpack giveaway for back to school, giving back to the community. I just thought that was super cool, man. He does a lot of stuff like that. Normally it runs pretty much under the radar. So had a nice little event today, man. So J-Mo, thank you, buddy, for giving back to the community. A lot of those kids that he helps out, may not even get backpacks if you don't hook them up. So that's where I'll start that thing. Steve, J-Mo, what are you expecting from him this year?
Well, that's a good way to start because, if he had been pulled over, I'm sure everyone in the media in Detroit would have probably put it out there. But when he does something good, it's nowhere to be found. So, yeah, good stuff, doing stuff for kids, helping those less fortunate kids in school. Let's give the man a little love, all right? Because, I know a lot of Detroit Free Press, all those guys, when he gets pulled over, he's gambling or speeding in his car, like we all write about it. Write about the good shit too. All right. Don't just put the stuff out there that's negative publicity. That's what drives players out of Detroit. Well, I think Jameson Williams, everything I haven't seen him in a preseason game and I'm okay with that, but electric, like unguardable, like those are words that have been thrown around in practice. Working on his hands, working on his route running. Like what more does he need to work on other than maybe, just not being a player that we're going to have to pay $50 million to? Like maybe we tone it down a little bit and, we try to get a little hometown discount by not throwing him the ball a couple times. Like, I think that's the only thing I really have to say about Jameson Williams. I think he's one of the most electric players in the whole NFL.
So you don't think he's one of the bubble guys? We're not gonna.
Oh no, I think he's more than say. I'll say this. I see him play quarterback instead of Hendon Hooker. Like,
oh boy,
I'm not against that idea. I know he didn't have a great audition in the playoff game against Washington throwing a pick, but maybe I'd rather see him instead of Hendon. I don't know. I'm not. Maybe that's an idea for later on Saturday. Maybe we see him suit up and put a jersey on.
Let's push that down the road a bit. But bubble players. I got a whole list of guys that I think could be on the bubble, but should I go with one of the most controversial ones first, you think?
I think there's probably going to be a couple of them that are controversial.
There's going to be a couple, yeah. But I feel like a hot one is Jackson Meeks. A lot of people are saying that this dude is locked on the roster, and I just don't know how that's possible, Steve, with our receiving room. Do you think Jackson Meeks is locked on the roster? This is a guy that is knocking on the door of 200 yards through the preseason. I think he's got 11, 13 receptions, couple of tutties. He's doing his thing in preseason, Steve. Is this dude locked on the roster, or is it still up in the air in your eyes?
I can guarantee you one thing that happens, Will. If you cut Jackson Meeks, he will not be on the Detroit Lions practice squad. I promise you that. If he's not on the active roster, someone is coming in and putting them on their 53. Don't know who it'll be. I would guess it's a team that probably doesn't have a strong wide receiver room. I'd have to bring up some rosters and look at some depth charts to take a more educated guess, but he has to be locked, Will. With this kind of sparks where we started yesterday of we have to carry 7 wide receivers. Have to, in my opinion. And I know that means we're probably going to go a little light somewhere else. I don't know where that will be. But when I look at our receiving core, I just don't know who you cut. And you threw out a name yesterday like St. Brown, safe. J-Mo, safe. Tesla, safe. Khalif Raymond, safe. Jackson Meeks, safe. Dominic Lovett, safe. Tim Patrick, I'm sorry, safe. Like, I can't cut one of those guys, Will. I can't cut any of those guys. So it's a good problem to have, but I know that means we're probably going to have to go a little light somewhere else.
Yeah, it's we're going to cut somebody that can play football. That's the bottom line. I know a couple people went in the comments and said, Tim Patrick has obviously made this team. I don't even know what you're an idiot, blah, blah, blah. Okay. You know what reason why I'm talking about it is this. Tim Patrick is a guy who I've never seen high point the football like Tesla has already. And although I like him, we talked about it here. We're calling him Timothy Patrick. He's a guy we like here. But on top of that, he's 31 years old, and over the history of his career has been injury prone. So if you're telling me I got two young guys that are looking like they could be the real deal, and I could get under contract for, or not get, I have under contract for 4 dirt cheap years, do I go with those guys, or do I go with the guy that I signed to a 1-year deal and have to worry about re-signing him next year? So it's the business too that plays into this thing. So, and respectfully, there might be an opportunity out there where he can get more volume because there's only one football, and we got a lot of people that are gonna need it to make plays. So that's the reason why I said it. Do I believe that absolute, like, am I betting the farm that's going to happen? No, I'm not betting the farm on anything because I don't know what they're going to do with Tim Patrick, Jackson Meeks, and another guy that I'm sure we'll get to.
Well, I feel like Tim Patrick would be like, if you just looked at those 7 players and you just put their name on a list, like, yeah, Tim Patrick is the one that kind of sticks out to me. But I said it yesterday. He's healthy and he's not playing in preseason games. So knowing Dan Campbell and now he's a player's coach, I feel like if he didn't already have a job, Dan would be saying, all right, we're going to give you some preseason reps. If you don't make this team, at least, maybe you have some film out there for another team to pick you up. With Dan not playing him, I think that says more than anything that he trusts him on this team. He's a veteran. He was playing good football at the end of the year. His 2 injuries, I mean, yeah, he had 2 seasons where he let me just double check. 22 and 23, he missed the whole season. Well, it wasn't bumps or bruises. Like, they were an Achilles, and I believe an ACL, if I'm not mistaken, when he was with the Broncos. So it's not like he's missing games, because he's got a calf strain or a hamstring. Like, he's had some injuries that have just not been something in his control. So I get it. He's the name when you look at it, sticks out. But I think what Dan is saying is, you're on this team. And if you weren't, if you were on the bubble, if there was any question marks, I think he'd be putting him out there to at least audition for another team. That's the kind of guy Dan Campbell is. Like, he did it when he brought in Zadarius Smith. Hey, man, we're going to take care of you. You haven't had your bye week. You need your time off to heal, get your stuff moved in. He takes care of players. So I feel like if that's the aspect where he would be taking care of Tim Patrick, he would be giving him a chance to try out for some other teams who are watching.
I understand that, but I disagree. The reason why I say that is this. First things first, if you want to know who I am, just pull up the film from last season. I'm already a proven veteran. Just like guys like Zadarius Smith don't need to play in training camp necessarily. You don't need him to see him in preseason going against a second string or third string corner to understand what he can do and what he can't do. It's already on film in real live NFL football games. So if I want to know about Tim Patrick, I'll just pull up the film and pull up the tape. But that said, do I think that he ends up on this roster? I do. But I think what you also can't account for is, I said it first a couple of episodes ago. I wasn't expecting Jackson Meeks to make this team. I wasn't expecting him to be as good as he's been. So maybe Coach Campbell, when he was first looking at this thing and everybody was sitting in those rooms, they were like, I didn't know this guy was going to be this good. We thought that he was going to be okay, but maybe they looked at him as a developmental guy that they could throw in the Packers squad, and now he's doing so well. He's better than a developmental guy that you just throw in the practice squad. So maybe it's a little bit of both, man. I just think people, because look at this, Steve. Zach Cunningham. Zach Cunningham is a guy that was in Denver on the practice squad. Couldn't even sniff the field in Denver. He's playing like a dog. Like, he's playing like a guy. If somebody mistimed at our linebacker core, I have zero issue with Zach Cunningham coming in. So I think people forget the NFL is a business, and things happen for logical reasons sometimes. Things happen for football reasons sometimes. And then there's times where things just happen because of the business side of football. I think that Zach Cunningham situation in Denver was the business. They were letting some young guys develop that weren't as good as Zach Cunningham, obviously, because he's been playing tough as he is here. So all that said, I don't know what they're going to do. Will they keep 7 receivers? Will they cut somebody that's going to blow our mind? Will they? I don't know. Will they keep 8? I have no idea, Steve. I don't know. I'm just on the edge of my seat waiting to see what's going to happen.
Here's something I do know for sure, William, and this is the God's honest truth. 4 weeks ago, I would have told you were crazy that Jackson Meeks makes this team. Now, as I sit here today, I'm saying you're crazy if you cut him. Like, that's how good he's been. And I look at just the preseason games. The first one was a wash. We had terrible quarterback play from start to finish. Let's imagine what he could have done with better quarterback play in the Hall of Fame game. And then these last 2 weeks, week 2, preseason week 2 against the Falcons, game got cut short because of the Maurice Norris situation. So he could have had more opportunities to shine. Last week, or just yesterday, actually, player of the game. So, I mean, he hasn't even had a full preseason of game either, because I feel like shitty quarterback play, not a fourth quarter in Atlanta. So I think he's a lock to make this team. There's no way that when it's time to trim the roster down to 53, there's no way you can send Jackson Meeks to the practice squad, because agents, I feel like, are watching like, hey man, we can get you on the Raiders team and you could be on their active 53 like right now. A player is going to take that deal over being on a practice squad to play real NFL football on Sundays. It's a no-brainer. So I feel like Jackson Meeks might be, I don't know, on our practice squad for a total of 3 minutes until his name gets put on a piece of paper and emailed to everyone else that, hey, this guy's available. Someone's going to swoop him up, Will.
Yeah, I agree. Hopefully he doesn't make it there and we keep him in the Honolulu Blue.
Who else you got? Who else is a bubble player?
I mean, if we're going to talk about those guys, we might as well roll right into Dominic Lovett, because he's another one. And that's the trio right there. Tim Patrick, Dominic Lovett, and then Jackson Meeks. What are we going to do with those 3 guys? Because I think any of those 3 guys instantly get pulled off of the practice squad. Like it is who you put on the practice squad. Okay, hey, listen, their phone's going to be blowing up and they're going to have options. Like it's going to be crazy. So Dominic Lovett, man, is a guy who I think that they were high on. I think that that's a guy that just by the volume that he got before he got banged up, I think that's a guy that they were taking a strong look at. My thing with Meeks and Tim Patrick is, with their youth, can they offer more on special teams? We've seen what Lovett can do on special teams already. Can Meeks offer something similar with his size and speed on special teams and be a problem? If he can do that, he might be able to earn his time, because you got to look at the totality of this thing. Hey, I understand what Tim Patrick is, but I know that I signed this young dog in Isaac Tesla. So what am I doing here? I don't mean Mayotron, but if he makes some plays in the regular season, I'll get interested. I'm not a hard no, but I'm interested. So Lagoda earned his, but I digress. Bottom line, with these 3 guys, somebody has to do something even more special, because I'm not going to sit here and say what Meeks has been doing isn't special, but they got to do something even more special to kind of separate themselves, or it's going to be some tough decisions. And I'm glad I'm not Brad.
Yeah, how much coffee you think they're going to drink the night before cuts are due, when they're staying up till 5 a.m, going through the board and sitting there in Dan's office trying to piece together who could play where? And this has got to be like the worst week for the head coach and GM, to just have to know that this is your last week to get a look at guys. And I don't know exactly when the official rosters are due, but I know it's sometime next week. And this is the last week of practice. We got a joint practice with the Houston Texans and then a game on Saturday. And then pretty much you guys' audition's over. Like, what have you done? Like it's a wrap after that. So we're like 6 days away from having to make some really, really tough choices. And when I think of Dominic Lovett, we're talking about a kid who was drafted, Will. We're talking about a kid who got picked, who the team invested capital in, and our roster being so deep that, are we going to have to make a tough decision? Because I feel like he's done enough to make the team. I feel like he's done more than enough. I put him and Jackson Meeks 1A, 1B, whatever order you want to put them in when it comes to the 6-7 wide receiver spot. They're the same. And what he did yesterday, I mean, he was a problem as a gunner. I believe he forced a fumble on a punt return that was recovered by Miami, and then later recovered a muff punt. So, I mean, his special teams is speaking for himself. I feel like, well, he's the same boat. Like, people are going to be watching. You can't let this kid get cut. You can't put him on the practice squad because he's going to get swooped up.
I dig it, and I agree, but pump the brakes. Are you going to just disrespect Seoni Vaki like this? Seoni Vaki caused that phone.
I know it happened so fast. I haven't seen the replay, but I know he was right there around the ball. But
yeah,
he's an effective special teamer.
Oh, he was getting busy. He was getting busy as a gunner, man. I like him a lot. That's why he's in this conversation, man. I don't know that the other guys can offer those same things, and he could probably return some kicks and some punts as well. So there's a lot to these decisions when you get in this room. I don't think it's as blatantly obvious as people are trying to make it. So that's where I stand.
No, there's going to be some surprises. I can bet on that, where we're like scratching our heads like, dang, why did Brad cut this guy? Why did we keep him? Like, they see something, they have a plan in place, and I trust it. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting week. But who else you got on your radar?
Keeping it on the offense, Craig Reynolds better keep his head on a swivel, Steve. Jacob Sailors. Hey, listen, I like every time he touches the football, I just continue to like him more and more. He can catch passes, he can run the ball, he can run outside, he can run in between the tackles. He'll put that foot in the dirt and go straight downhill and come at you. And then Craig Reynolds,
we got five running backs we're gonna have to have a conversation about. 5.
Yeah.
You're not keeping five.
Craig Reynolds just had some bad luck, man. There was some holding penalties on a few of his solid runs, but for whatever reason, when Jacob gets that rock, I don't see a lot of flags being thrown, and he's getting downhill and gaining yards. I like what I see out of him. He is definitely a bubble guy that interests me. Another one, I think if he goes to the practice squad, somebody swoops him up. But I don't know if he overcomes Craig, and then Sione Vaki's special team abilities. I don't wish any bad luck on the guy. Like I said, I love his game. But if I was guessing, I think he may be one of those casualties that just hurts me to see. Steve, you think he's making his team? How you feeling?
No, but I'll tell you this. I am glad that he got a great opportunity with the Lions to come in here and put some tape out for some other teams, because I'm with you. I think he'll get picked up, but I don't see him. I've been trying to think of the kid from Tennessee that just got cut last week that was playing really good football too. Tell me out here, Will. I'm drawing a blank on his name.
I don't know who.
From Tennessee, he just got put on I'll have to look it up. Someone type it in the comments. Let me know.
Was it running back?
Yeah, Hendon Hooker's teammate. We did like a whole. I can't. God, I'm just drawing a blank.
Anyway, yeah, I know you're talking about Jabari Small.
Jabari Small, yes. When he got cut last week, I started thinking like, all right, yeah, Sailors, like he had a pretty good game against Atlanta where he dominated a whole drive. And he looks like he accelerates a little bit faster than Craig. But Craig, I will never forget, he blew my mind a couple years ago when we played in the playoffs against the Rams, 4th and 1. Craig Reynolds is in the backfield. And I said, there's no way that they're going to trust Craig Reynolds with this football in a situation like this. What'd they do, Will? That's right. Jared Goff turned around, handed the ball to Craig, and gave him, I believe it was a go-ahead touchdown in a playoff game. Like with our 2 running backs, Gibbs and Montgomery, we went to running back 3. And maybe the whole Rams team was thinking the same thing that I was thinking. Like there's no way they're giving him the ball in this moment. And he delivered. And I feel like that was like Dan Campbell saying, I trust Craig Reynolds through and through, like to the core. So it's going to be really hard for anyone to beat Craig out of a job with his experience, the trust in the coaching staff. He might not be the most electric player. Those were good holding calls too, by the way. Well, it sucks because he really did spring that first one on that first drive. But I forget who got called for the hold, but they showed the replay and had that Miami Dolphins player in a chokehold. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think Sailors makes the team, but he has been a very, very pleasant surprise. I put him as like this kid's auditioning. Like he really hasn't changed my mind, but that's just because we're locked with 2 running backs. Like you think Montgomery and Gibbs are going to make the team more than likely?
It'll be close.
Yeah, they might be like 52 and 53 when it comes to making the roster. But yeah, our running back room is the same as the wide receivers. Like there's a lot of players in there that are going to be hard to beat out for jobs.
Yeah, for sure. Steve, I'm not even going to beat around the bush. Broderick Martin, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? 99, Steve. What are we talking about?
I don't see him making the team. Well, I don't. I don't see him. And I'll tell you this: I've been a Broderick Martin hater. I wrote him off back in March. Like I think we did an episode, and I said I'm officially done. There's no way Broderick's making this team. He has surprised me. I'll admit that he has played better than I anticipated, but I feel like it's just too little, too late. He's played good. I feel like him lining up offsides in the neutral zone twice yesterday probably didn't help his case. But if you want to take that out of the equation, I do feel like he's at least held his own or generated some pressures more than I anticipated. But when it comes to making the team, I still lean towards cut.
Steve, are you nuts? Are you out of your mind?
Are you going to cut him, or would you rather cut him or Tim Patrick? If that's the final spot, who are you keeping? You got one spot left. Tim Patrick, Broderick Martin. Who are you keeping?
They don't even go together.
It's one roster spot.
I either need a D lineman or I need a receiver. That's
exactly. Make the
that's
call.
Gonna be that's going to be the conversation. I got to know what else is. There's so many variables. I can't. That's not even a question that I can answer. And if we're talking about who adds more value to the team immediately, it's Tim Patrick. It adds more value to the team immediately. But I got to know what the situation is. So that's.
I feel like there's a lot of players that are more valuable to the team than Broderick Martin.
I don't know, but if he turns out to be something, then we don't know that. So here's where I stand on Broderick. I don't know that he would have made this team, but there may be. Haven't seen what's going on with Ahmed Hassani. If Hassani is going to miss some time and he does like a temporary 4-week stint, 4-week stint off of the books, and obviously we got Aleem, Levi Onwuzurike, Wingo, all types of guys. If these guys aren't off the books, Pascal, that may open the door for him to get on this roster and see. That's going to be the bottom line. So I think that he may sneak in like that. Now, if he does sneak in like that, I gotta believe Brad is saying, listen, I traded to go get this guy. I gotta give him. My pride is forcing me to give him every opportunity to not be a blemish on my just beautiful record of making good selections. So the Broderick Martin train cannot come to a crash at the same time as another train that might come to a crash. So for those reasons, I think that he may squeak his little way as number 53 onto this roster.
First of all, there's nothing little about Broderick Martin. Let's get that straight. When I just look at the depth chart for the Lions, defensive tackle-wise, Aleem McNeil, safe. DJ Reader, safe. Roy Lopez, safe. Tyleik Williams, safe. Pat O'Connor, a name you didn't mention, Will. Would you take Pat or would you take Broderick? I'm going straight with the boat. Pat O'Connor. Okay, thank you. I was starting to get a little worried there. Mekhi Wingo, when he comes back from injury, I feel like he's better than Broderick Martin. So how many? Miles Adams, I feel like he's better than Broderick Martin. We're talking Broderick Martin being 7th on this list. Are we going to carry 70 tackles and still possibly carry 7 wide receivers? Like, I know there's a lot of variables. You're right. But, Will, if we're going thin at a position, I feel like Broderick Martin becomes more expendable by the moment.
He does. He is expendable. Like I said, I think that if he squeaks his way as 53, it'll be Brad saying, hey, listen, I cannot let this thing go. I still gotta prove that I was right. That's the bottom line. Listen, there's an abundance of guys. One that I'm going to talk about that are on that list that you named, and one that I think you didn't even mention that I'm taking ahead of Broderick. But I think there's a world where he could be 53, and we've seen a pulse. And I gave him his flowers. I don't know, a couple of shows ago. Casey Rogers is doing magic right now with these D linemen. They all look good. Like you mentioned, Miles Adams, I think he looks like a new dude in comparison to what I seen when he was with the Seattle Seahawks and what I seen last season with the Detroit Lions. World of difference. So we're talking about, we haven't even talked about him yet, but I'm sure we're going to get into him, Keith Cooper Jr. Dude looks like he should have been drafted Like, I don't understand why the dude wasn't drafted. He's out there being very impactful. He's another one. So I don't know, Steve. It'll really boil down to Casey Rogers looking at Brad and Dan and saying, hey, listen, we got something here. I don't know what Coach Williams was doing with them prior to me getting here, but I feel like I can get this big dude moving. But at the end of the day, do we have guys that can clog up a middle? Yeah. Can Roy Lopez do it? Can Talik Williams do it? Can Ali McNeil do it? Can DJ Reader do it? Yeah, for sure. Like, even guys like Chris Smith, like, can he do it? It's we got dudes that can do that job. So it's going to be tight.
Tough decisions, Will. Tough. This is the worst week for a GM to know that you have a Super Bowl caliber roster and every player is going to matter, especially if we have another season like last year where we were just put through the gauntlet of injuries from like week 2 to week 18, if you want to count the playoffs too. Just a gauntlet, Will. We've seen everyone come. We were picking up players from other teams' practice squads and giving them starting jobs on a 15-2 team. Like, that was unheard of and something I've never seen before, was scooping up players and saying, hey, you're on Cleveland's practice team. We're going to come bring you in and you're going to start for the number 1 team in the NFL. Like, that's where we were. So when people say, oh, this stuff doesn't matter, yeah, it 1000% does matter who makes this team, because they're guaranteed to be there. No one can pluck them. They're safe, under our control. Go to the practice squad. You can get plucked at any time. Any team can come calling at any moment from week 1 to week 17. You never know. So there are some big names out there. There are some tough decisions to be made. We had to hop on, do a bubble player. You got more, Will. You got more. But all right, let me just cancel.
I know. Hey, listen. I know we're late in the game. So I literally was just gonna say, I got three more people. I just want you to give me a yes or no on 2 of them, and then one of them we're gonna have to talk about. 3 more people. Ian Kennelly. Is he making it or not making it? 10 seconds.
Yes.
Yeah, I say yes too.
Okay, but that's a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Nate Lynn. Oh boy, our linebacker room's tough. So you're literally just keeping him on the team for a just in case, because I love our linebackers. I say yes.
Yeah, I think so too. I think he'll be a situational pass rusher. I don't even know if he'll truly be in the linebacker room. He might maybe the Sam or whatever, but all right, let's get into the business. We're 27 minutes in, so let's get right into the business, because you're not getting off of here. Hendon Hooker, what's going to happen? How is this story unfold? Like, we can't get out on here and not talk about Hendon. How does this story unfold? Take me down a road. Take me to the promised land, Steve. School me. What are we doing with Mr. 68th pick overall, Hendon Hooker, Tennessee Vol?
Right now, today, knowing he still has one more chance, I'm saying you're playing for your life on Saturday. Cut. As of now, cut. Play good Saturday. Maybe you stick around. But I'm still a firm believer that, we're talking about making a 53-man roster, but if Hendon Hooker plays bad, I think we're bringing in a quarterback who gets cut from another team as of today. That would not shock me one bit. And I've seen some teams having some conversations about Jameis Winston. I'm not saying that I don't want Brad Holmes to be doing his due diligence as a third, possibly second quarterback there. So I feel like Hendon's future with the Detroit Lions is on life support, and the doctors are coming into the room needing to charge their iPhones, Will, and something might be getting unplugged. That's where I'm at with Hendon. Saturday is literally do or die for him in his Detroit Lions future, I feel like, because he has not looked good. He hasn't looked great. I can't even say he's looked average. Well, he's looked bad.
Yeah, I mean.
So today, cut. Saturday could change my mind, but boy, he better play the game of his life. Where do you sit? Where do you lean?
I think that right now he's going to be a big winner to the new rule of the emergency quarterback, not counting against the 53-man roster. I think under those circumstances, he could be a guy who we allow to continue. But I will say I'm getting to a point to where if he plays bad in the preseason game, I still won't give up on him ever being good. But I think that will put the nail in the coffin for me for him ever being good in Detroit. Maybe it's just time for him to get a fresh start somewhere else, right? If he maybe just football in Detroit just isn't his thing, as you say. So, but if he shows some life, then so be it. Cool. I know that Coach Campbell went to the podium and said maybe he might even start Hendon this last preseason game. So, now I think some of that
was going to be my next question. Should Hendon Hooker get a full 4 quarters?
Yeah, at that point, yeah, why not? But how do you do it? Because things have been so bad. It's like we can't even run our offense. And I don't even want to talk. I don't want to get into a whole Hendon Hooker show, but as Kyle Allen is out there leading the charge, he's at least running the offense. Even when he played the first game and he was having a bad showing out there, he was at least able to run the offense. Hendon looks like they don't trust him with the offense. They're just like, hey, man, we're going to hand it off and then just get out of here.
That's what I said yesterday.
Yeah,
they look like 3rd and 6, hand the ball off, man. We'll punt it and live to play another day.
So under those circumstances, Steve, I don't know how you let somebody play 4 quarters like that. You could ruin a QB forever. Just confidence he's already shown that his confidence is just in the dumps right now. So for those reasons, I don't know if he gets 4 quarters. Maybe if it's clicking, man, maybe they let him fly. But I think Coach Campbell might have been more. It may be less about Hendon and more about Kyle Allen. Why Hendon might start. I don't think Hendon's getting the start because they're expecting great things. I think he's getting the start because he's like, okay, Kyle showed me what I need to see. Let's let Hendon go do his thing, And I'm still pulling for him. Not betting on him, but I'm pulling for him. I really, anybody wearing the Honolulu blue, we say it all the time here. We want to see you have some success, but either way that it goes, even if he goes to another team, I hope that he can turn this thing around. I know he's playing the game. All these guys are playing the game that they've been, their dreams, they're following their dreams. So, just if he ever plays the Detroit Lions, I hope we destroy him.
Well, when I know you won't ever give up on Hendon Hooker or Broderick Martin, it just gives me faith that I know you'll never give up on me because I just know that, Bill.
I mean, I won't, Steve, but we never have to worry because you're the best podcaster in the world.
I don't even know if I make the top 5,000. If someone in Detroit is bored enough to rank the top 1,000,000 podcasters in the world, I'm sure Steve Perkins would be in the upper 900,000 somewhere.
I'm right there with you. All right,
there you go, guys. So bubble players, big week for the Lions, cut week. This is the final, or not cut week, but official audition week, probably on Saturday after the game. Thanks for watching. Stick around, hit that like button. We'll be back later with another show.
Peace.